We're live. Hello everyone, I'm your host, Captain Oblivious, and today I'm joined by my good friends, Tony.
Hey.
Welcome.
Nice to be here.
And Yash.
Hi.
We are here today to talk about yesterday's game, about the UEFA Super Cup, which it was Liverpool versus Chelsea. The game ended at a final score of 2-2, with the advantage for Liverpool winning the penalty shootout with a 5-4. First of all, we would like to talk about the Liverpool's performance, which in my opinion, I think they dominated the start 10 to 15 minutes, and then Chelsea turned the game around for the rest of the half. Well, what do you think, guys, about the first half for the two teams in a very general vision? What do you think?
Well, to be honest, Liverpool started good, but Chelsea got the game, got the hang of it, and then started pushing back. So after the 15 minutes that you mentioned, the game was somewhat equal. I mean, it were both equal sides, both good. And Chelsea managed to put the goal as well in. And after that, Liverpool kept pushing back, resulting in a 1-1 in the first half.
No, Liverpool actually equalized at the start of the second half, but let's not get there at the moment. I want to talk more about tactics that Klopp had. I think Klopp had good tactics at the start, but then I feel like his defense kind of relaxed and gave the opportunity to Chelsea to turn the game around with their through balls. Kante, Jorginho, Pedro just did an excellent job putting Giroud throughout the half of the first half. They were just dominating, and they managed to put a goal in. Yash, what kind of anything to say about the first half, about the two teams?
Well, I think Klopp got his tactic wrong by not putting Firmino and by putting Chamberlain. You could see that Chamberlain was not fit at all, and the attack was not going through. Second half, as soon as Firmino came, the game was a game changer. Like, the tempo of the game changed completely.
Yeah, I would also like to break in. I thought that the first half especially would be much more one-sided, seeing how Chelsea lost versus Manchester United in the previous week. So that's why I thought I was actually very surprised by the halftime score and that Chelsea was able to get in front. And I also thought that they played the best in the first half.
Yeah, I agree with both of you, with all the three of you. Let's address the elephant in the room, guys. First time ever in a European game we have women for referees. That's very positive, pushing equality. However, I noticed they had some delayed calls on the offsides. And the other thing they did, Pulisic goal in the first half, I think it was a very clean goal. I don't think that was an offside, which is the reason they disallowed it. I don't believe it was. But you have to assume there was a lot of pressure being there for the first time in such a big game. Having the two European champions of Champions League and Europa League facing each other, that should put a lot of pressure on yourself, I imagine. Knowing that I feel pressure right now on our podcast, because it's our first, by the way, so yeah.
Yes. Overall, I thought in the game that VAR, they did not use it very well. You could also see at the final stages of the game, the final penalty, where it was actually very controversial because Adrian actually stepped out a little bit before Abraham took the penalty. Also to mention the penalty Abraham got in the fourth half, where personally I don't believe it was a penalty, but they should have been a little bit more prepared for these situations. But yeah, it was her first game. I think overall she let the game flow a lot. There was many fouls she could have called, but I think she wanted a clean game, mainly for the entertainment.
Yeah, so what are the positives you take out of that as a movement for the football, allowing women for the first time to take that such a big role in the game? We never had that before.
In a major game. Well,
Exactly.
to be honest, it was kind of difficult because that woman, Stephanie was her name, I can't remember.
Stephanie Craftman.
Yes, she represented all of the women referees in a major game, and she should have been flawless. I mean, everything should have been perfect, so as to continue having women referees in major games. And the fact that all of the other referees were women as well, I don't know, maybe it could have been seen as, you wanted games, here's a game, a difficult game, and so if mistakes were made, they could have just stopped them right there.
Yeah, of course you always have mistakes in games, even if it's men or women. It's just the first taste of it. I don't think it's that bad, but yeah, offsides like that, you can't be unsure or too sure. You're making a decision, you should make it right there. You cannot wait for the player. Because Chelsea scored twice. They scored twice, and they took the decision way too late to disallow them or show that it's actually an offside. But other than that, I think we should move on to our first part of the podcast. We started talking about the first half. I think we should move to the second half and break down that one. So, first half ends. I did not realize Chamberlain was in the game till they showed his face at the very end of the first half. The guy was absolutely nowhere to be seen, but in his defense, he was injured for such a long time that some people might even forget he was at Liverpool to start with. What do you guys think about Chamberlain? Like, what do you think of his image and him coming back? Did that give you a good taste at his back, or did it give you a sour taste because he didn't show up really? Yeah, welcome.
Well, for me, like I said, Chamberlain, totally off fitness. You could see that guy was not prepared to start a game like that. It should not have been there at all for me. It's the same like for that guy, Joe Gomez and Matip, players that should not be put in a big game like that.
I totally agree. If your players are not fit for the task, then you shouldn't put them on the pitch. That's why I also question some of Klopp's decisions as of late.
Alright, last thing before we move total in the second half. Yash, during the game, he told me that the defense of Liverpool was working in a really bad way. 3 players marking 1, and then Joseph Gomez was nowhere to be seen in the defense. He was supposed to be the right back. He was not doing his job. I think that sums up the first half. Moving on to the second half, I heard right before it starts there's a substitute coming on, and then they say Firmino comes on for Chamberlain, and obviously people expected a change. And the funny thing is, the half starts, Fabinho or Henderson throws a ball in for Firmino. Firmino, right in front of the keeper, passes the ball to Mane. Mane just pushes it in. I think that's incredible how fast a player can change the attitude of the team. What do you think of Firmino, guys? Is that one of the best strikers or centre-forwards, creative centre-forward? Or is he the best? Is he the absolute best? What do you think?
Well, he's among the best, to be honest. When you see that impact he had on the second half, I don't think any player that was on the bench did that. Origi came, he did not have that impact at all that Firmino had. That guy just created for Salah and Mane. He's one of the best, maybe the best right now.
Also, yeah, I think it also has something to do with his chemistry with Mane and Salah. He has been playing with them for a long time. He's mainly the starting centre forward. Also, he's probably one of the most unselfish players who's been playing in attack. So yeah, in my books he would be in top 3.
All right, moving on in the second half, I think the game started getting a little bit too stable. The balls moves from the one side to the other with not any really big chances. Itro in the first half hit the post as well, had some good moments. In the second half he was not really there. And then I think a Fabinho shot or Van Dijk out of nowhere, and Kepa just saves it, hits the post and backs off again out of the area. That was a crazy moment. But I cannot really recall any other big moments in the game till the extra time started, when the 90 minutes ended. And it starts in the extra time, and what happens, guys? What happens there? 95th minute again. Who's scoring? Who's giving assist? Like we already talked about those two guys in the first goal of Liverpool. They just hit again.
No money, yeah. Was it 93rd minute? If I'm
95.
95th
yes.
or
yes.
But yeah, I mean, it was to be expected. I mean, I expected a goal in the extra time. Liverpool kept pushing and pushing. I mean, they would have scored anyway, yeah. But what I didn't expect, was when I saw the ball go in, I thought it was all over. I mean, Liverpool won. But yeah, I didn't expect Chelsea to make a comeback, even if it was a penalty, and even if it shouldn't be allowed. I mean, still, yeah, Chelsea equalized and they went to penalties.
All right, finishing the game. Yeah, moving on to that point of the penalty. Very controversial penalty with the man himself, Abraham. This man actually pushed his team to the penalties by winning a penalty. The referee awarded it to him. She didn't give it away. The guy extended his leg, being smart. So he has a minimum, at least a minimum contact with the keeper while the keeper was diving to catch the ball, which the ball was already going out, and that was a bad call from the keeper, if you ask me. And he gets awarded the penalty. And what happens in the penalty shootout? He won a penalty, then he lost the penalty, which is very unfortunate for him. I mean, that's the most unfortunate thing it has happened to a footballer, I would say.
Well, as you know, penalty shootouts are 50-50 chances. I believe putting the pressure on a player with such high potential, again, I think he's too young to put in these situations. I don't know if Lampard put him there purposely, maybe to boost his confidence, putting him the match winner of the penalty shootout. But I believe it was a wrong decision. I believe someone with experience should have taken it. I would also like to talk about the penalty that was given in the fourth half. The one, was it Abraham that won it? Yeah, Abraham. I don't think it was a penalty at all. I believe he was searching for the contact there. The only example I could give is that I have seen penalties awarded for something that's less than that. But in my book, there's too less contact. It's like he's going for it. If you can put a photo in there to show people what I've been talking about, but in general, I just think he was searching for it. I don't think it's a penalty.
Yeah, as a footballer, being smart, let's say, I will call it smart. Yeah, he searched for the minimum contact. There's no question about that. So, anything to say about Giroud? Do you think he played good? Do you think he played a good role? He scored the first goal. He had some smart runs, which he picked from Ande and Pedro, Jorginho.
Well, I think Giroud had a very good game, if we had to look, because they needed that big, strong guy to fight Van Dijk and Matip, and I think Giroud did that exactly, helping Pulisic and Pedro making the run behind the defense. He was like everyone was busy marking him or Pulisic. Then you could see Pedro just having the spaces to run through and attack.
All right, I would like to conclude the podcast with the last two parts of it. I would like to talk about the two managers and where the two teams will move on from now and then for their next games. I would like to start to then talk about Jurgen Klopp, who's for me he's a mastermind of football at this point. They had so many games. He won. He was very unlucky not winning many titles. But if you think of his run so far, he had Dortmund. He built a very strong team there, led them to winning the league. He led them to the final of the Champions League. And now with Liverpool, he's been there since 4 years. How many years?
4 years. 4 years, yeah.
4 years. The guy has been there. He's been in a Europa League final. He finished second in the league last year. He won the Champions League, coming back after that game with Barcelona, losing 3-0 and turning it around 4-0 without his full first 11 squad. That's incredible. I think that's unbelievable what this man has achieved. Starting this year again, being unlucky again with City, he's just losing it, as Volkan said earlier. Going to penalty shootout, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And he lost that one, but for his good luck, he won the one last night. Anything you have to say about this manager, guys?
Yeah, I'd also like to add that when he went to Liverpool, he said, "Give me 4 years," and in 4 years he managed to win a trophy.
He did?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I remember it. Yeah.
All he missed the club. The corner reference.
Well, as a United fan, it pains me to say that he's the best manager right now with Guardiola, but we all have to admit that he took a very weak Liverpool team and turned them to Champions League winner. Now they're fighting City toe to toe for the title. It's incredible what he achieved with them.
Agree.
Well, I would like to talk a little. Yeah, I would like to talk a little bit about Lampard, because he has actually surprised me a lot. About how he's managed this young team, knowing that he could not buy any players. Also, that Eden Hazard just moved to Madrid a little bit before he came. The football they're playing right now is excellent. They just need the results there. But what I'm seeing on the pitch is amazing. I don't know if it's him being there or his own tactics, but if he goes this, if he continues this part, I can only see Chelsea back to greatness again, especially when their transfer is lifted.
I would like to add on that. Having Frank Lampard there is an inspiration only by his name, like saying Frank Lampard. He's like the number one in Chelsea. There's no one above Lampard in Chelsea. It's Lampard number one, and number two is John Terry probably. But Lampard he's been there. So many goals for Chelsea, so many assists. He won the league at least twice, if I'm not mistaken. He won one Champions League as well. Like, he's been there, done that. If I was a footballer in Chelsea and watch him at my bench, I would be really excited to play my best ever football, you know? Who else would inspire me more as a Chelsea player, having the legend there?
Well, yeah, that's it, maybe. Yeah.
I'd also like to add that, yeah, since Lampard went to Derby, I was in Derby at that time. I was living in Derby, and seeing the way he managed that team, it was very good. And especially the game with Leeds, when he turned it around and went to the final. I was in Derby that day, and I mean, it was phenomenal. People were cheering in the streets, drinking all day, partying. It was, I mean, I have huge respect for what he did to Derby, and I expect it to be improved in Chelsea with more resources and better players.
Alright guys, anything else you want to add about the two coaches?
Well, for me, Lampard has been over-criticized. Like, the guy just took a very weak team, and the way he plays, he's actually trying to follow a football like Guardiola. Like, even when you see from the keeper, the way they're moving the ball, the transition from keeper, defense, and midfielder, he's just trying to have a proper, clean football and not something incredible, which even United is not doing. United is just basing the football around counter-attack. And for him to actually try to play such a football is very remarkable from him. And you have to think that he had a very bad luck starting the season. If you watch the United game, his team hit the post with them. Against Liverpool, what messed him up was the injury of Christensen. He just had to put a youngster that no one heard about as a centre-back, and they just conceded after that. I think that if you get a bit more of luck, people will start appreciating him more.
Yeah, as soon as I believe that Chelsea with Lampard, as soon as they start hitting those average to low teams, they start taking up points after points after points. I think there's no question about that if the players keep on performing like they did in the first two games. If they don't get discouraged by those defeats, because those defeats are of no shame. United has a massive history. They won the Champions League multiple times. They won the league multiple times. There's no shame in losing at that. Also, Liverpool, the same goes. I want to repeat myself, the same goes as United. They have a huge history as a club. And yeah, I would like to conclude this podcast. What are your thoughts how Liverpool moves on after this victory into the league? What are your predictions for Liverpool for the league, for the FA Cup, the Champions League, the League Cup? How do you think they do?
Well, to start off with, I don't think any of those teams wanted to play 120 minutes. It's tough for them, especially this early in the season. They have to go in tough Super Cup final. Liverpool, I think they can go for the title this season, but it really depends on what club he takes as priority. He might want to defend the Champions League or go for the Premier League, but if I had to make a guess, I think they will win the Premier League. The way they play football, they just need to sort out their defense. I think they're letting in too many goals. They let in against Manchester City, a tough team to defend against, also against Norwich and against Chelsea. That's 3 teams in a row they have conceded against. Chelsea, I think they will have a tough run. As you said, they're about to rebuild the squad. They have a new coach, but they are playing very good football. So yeah, I can see them ending the mid-table to around 6th or 5th. I don't think they will be in top 4 this season.
Tony, what are your thoughts on Liverpool and Chelsea's
as a
run?
United fan, I don't want Liverpool to do well. Although it's kind of inevitable. I think they're doing really well. Now they don't have Alisson for he's coming back late October, but Adrian proved to be quite good yesterday. But still, yeah, she's no Alisson. Whereas Chelsea, yeah, the transfer ban may be a problem, but seeing Lampard using young players like Jason Mount, who was exceptional both yesterday and against United game, and when he stepped up to take a penalty, I thought he's young, he might missed it, and instead he scored. So yeah, Lampard is using all the resources available to do well, and yeah, he might not finish in top 4, but yeah, 5th or 6th maybe.
Yeah, I think the same. Liverpool, for me, Liverpool finishes top 2. I'm more going for 2nd for Liverpool because City is difficult to deny, and for Chelsea, I think they make top 7. Yash, what are your thoughts on Liverpool's and Chelsea's run for the rest of the season? It just started, it's just starting, so what are your predictions?
Well, I think Klopp's biggest mistake is not buying another centre-back, because you could see Gomez, Matip will cost him lots of games. It was the same not buying a keeper, but he saw that. But that defense will cost Liverpool. That will make them not win the title. And for Lampard, yeah, I think the top 6, top 7 should be incredible for him with that squad he had. So I think City will win the league, and Liverpool have a good run in the Champions League. But I think this year with the recruitment, many teams have like Barcelona, Juventus. I don't think Liverpool will fight for that. And even City, Guardiola said his priority is the Premier League.
All right, guys, before we conclude, I think that concludes our podcast. But before that, I would like to mention Tony sent me a picture after the game with Jorginho's kid. He looked at the back, he was like, his name, there's something wrong there. Can you explain it to us, Tony?
Well, apparently they spelled his name wrong on the kit. I don't know how or why that happened and why no one noticed until the last minute. I mean, the only thing I can say is maybe they didn't notice and they just gave him the kit right before the match and he was like, my name is wrong. But what can I do now? I'll just wear it and be done. And, I mean, it's a grave error. I mean, how can you misspell that? I mean, you see the picture, it's quite different.
What does a man do? What does a man do? He enters, he's ready to enter the page, he sees the kid. That's not my name. That's not my name on the chat.
You either go shirtless or you don't play at all, or you wear that t-shirt. And he chose the third option, obviously.
That's crazy. Alright, guys, is that something else you want to add in the conversation?
No, not really. Nothing.
Just put a like and subscribe.
That's just to say.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll see you next time because there will be a next time.
Yeah.
Probably.
Alright, guys, I'll make the outro. I would like to thank the three of you, first of all. Tony, Yash, Volkan, thank you so much for joining the first podcast. It's a pleasure being here with you, talking about the game. We have so much coming up. Tomorrow we'll have another football podcast coming up, talking about the upcoming weekend games. And we will also have it's a UFC fight that will take place early Sunday for us. That's huge. We have the card, Paulo Costa facing Yoel Romero in the main event card. Then you have Pettis versus Diaz coming up, which Diaz haven't fight for 3 years. And then you have Daniel Cormier versus Miocic for the title. That's just a teaser. I won't get into too many details about that. Just make sure to tune in tomorrow for those two podcasts. I would like to thank all our fans for watching us. Make sure to put a like on the video, subscribe, and share it with any friends you have. And I'll see you later.
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you.